we've been doing organic since '99.
And what did you do?
We did seeds basically. Seed like
Parsley,
parsley,
cress.
clover, watercress seed, different kind of seeds.
spinach.
Yeah, spinach seeds. Yeah, tons of spinach seeds, organic. But the thing is, when you do a production like that, you have like a load of seeds, and you take it to some factory and you dump it off there, and they say, okay, this is not germinating well enough, or there's too many, it's not clean enough, or whatever. We'll give you so much for it, right? So you have no influence. You don't meet the customer. You don't have no feedback. You don't have no relations. And I would say that's what about the pigs is. Like we meet a lot of neat people, right? Nerdy, interesting people. And that's really a big thing.
But you didn't know that when you started.
No. We just like everyone said it couldn't be done. Like even the leading researcher in organic pig farming, she said to me, and this is what, if you do that, if you feed the pigs the way you're telling me you would like to do it, they won't grow, they won't have any piglets, the meat will be bad, and it'll be close to cruel animal
cruelty.
Yeah.
Based on what?
Because they wouldn't get the vitamins, they wouldn't get the minerals, they wouldn't, all kind of things. They have some books, and there's so much research on pigs because there's so much money in it, right? There's more research in nutrition for pigs than human beings, right? So my logic was like, if we human beings can make a living out of what we eat, why shouldn't the pig be able to? Like a wild boar, right? And let it grow natural and see what happens. So we did these pigs, the first number of pigs, and we took them out to some chefs we knew, and we said, what is this like?
The first 100.
Yeah.
8 years ago.
Yeah, and
2010.
yeah,
Yep.
and then they all said, "Oh, look at this marbling!" And no, first I went to pick up. We didn't butcher that. I went to pick up the first 2 pigs, and the butcher, where you kind of got your apprenticeship,
Beginning, where it all started with.
he said, "Look at these pigs. You'll never get that sold. Look at the fat on them. Look at how small the loin is, and all those kind of things." And then I thought, he said, "Go back home and feed it some supplement, right? Some soya and all those kind of things." And then I went out to these chefs and then look at the coloring, look at the marbling, look at the whatever, and then it just slowly went away from there. In the beginning, we started up with having a truck driver, your former boss. He came and picked the pigs up Sunday evening, and then he drove all over Fyn with these pigs. First, we had to catch them. That's not easy.
Catch them. Yeah.
Catch them there, and then we had to load them in a truck. And he was driving all over Fyn all night. And then in the morning, he would put them in a barn, and they would stand there with I don't know how many other pigs, in a smell, in a room, and whatever they were not used to. So we ended up with some stressed pigs. Really, you could see it on the meat too.
Do you think it would have an even worse effect on your pigs that are not used to being out in nature with less density than pigs that are just battery caged?
Like these pigs are not used to. They're used to, if they don't like their neighbor, they just walk away, right? Here, if you have a normal pig or organic pig, right, they cannot walk away because you're always touching someone else, right? So it was pretty bad. And then that was the first. We did that first, and then we found out that this was not a good idea. So we bought a trailer, and then we loaded the trailer in, and I went down, took the time to load them. They knew me, they knew the trailer. We went down to the butchery, and they were the first one butchered, but still, they came into the butchery and were standing on the concrete floor, and the smells and whatever, and some just stressed out. And it was not pleasant, but the butchers, your colleagues, they say, we need to sell as cheap as possible, right? Where we say, okay, we're going to try to make the absolutely best we can. And then what you're going to see is the people willing to pay the price.
Yeah.
So, and it is, but
And I think that the whole thing about butchering on the farm, and just they don't move anywhere, right? They're here.
No.
You saw it yourselves.
Well, we just saw it today, and it's. I think I'm actually very surprised about how undramatic it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no big thing about it. No.
Yeah.
And you're there thinking whether the pigs actually, like, what are they thinking? You know, what's going on through their minds? Like and it's like I think that they understand that the other one's dead, but I just think they're not very emotional about it. They're like, yeah. So it's not like they don't know. I'm sure they know that one's out. But it seems like it's okay. Like they don't get stressed out. They're not scared.
No.
It's clear that they don't understand that it can affect them maybe later at one point.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big thing.
But this is the whole thing that it's here. It's on
Yeah.
the farm. They've lived here. They die here.
Yeah.
They don't move anywhere.
Yeah.
It's lovely. What a nice way to go.
Yeah.
But you also have a link between you, which is a butcher, right? When you're learning how to become a butcher, do you learn anything about animal welfare? Or for
No.
you as a butcher, this is a product that you need to cut
Yeah.
in pieces and sell as effective as you can, right? It's
Yeah,
not an animal really for you.
No.
It's a piece of something that you need to learn to cut up, right?
Yeah, it's
So
only
there's
a
like
product.
a missing link because,
Interesting. Yeah.
like, you know, if butchers were more aware, hopefully,
Yeah.
it would be better.
But I think that's very symptomatic for what everything that goes on in the meat consumption is that you just leave that as far away,
Yeah.
so out of reach, so you don't have to relate
It's
to it.
another education. It's
Yeah.
not in the
Yeah.
butcher.
But
It's,
also like that also goes for the consumers because people
Yeah.
tend
Just imagine if you could have thinking crazy, but let's say all consumers in Denmark were here and experienced what you experience today.
Yeah.
What kind of meat would they choose? No, but they have to go to a normal butchery too.
Yeah.
What kind of meat, if they would eat meat,
Yeah.
would they eat?
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Exactly.
For them, meat is something in a long vacuum-packed bag, and there's no relation to its actual
But
living creature.
I meet a lot of people who don't understand there's so much taste in this meat. They say, oh, they taste like the same, all pigs. And they don't understand this is better. And I have really discussed this with a lot of people since I started here.
But have they tried it?
No,
So that's the thing.
but they don't believe in it.
No.
They don't believe they could be better.
No, but
So
this is
that's
again this is also a part of this idea of the understanding and acknowledging that there is a big diversity in things and that things make difference or can make a difference. But we are, I think, particularly in Denmark, there is a way of consolidating things to the point where it becomes pig is just pig. Like there's no, and it's from an industrial point of view, it's a quality. Because it's just one way pig can be, and that is something that is useful when you sell it to China, but it's not useful in the sense of if you want to have any sort of ambitions about enjoying different flavors and having different eating experiences besides just making it cheap. Because industrial is a way of making things faster and easier and cheaper. But there's something that goes very wrong when it comes to dealing with food, because there's just some ethical issues, first of all, and there's gastronomical issues, which is flavor and taste and these things, that are not going well with that mindset, which is industrial. And I just think that, for me, the thing of seeing pigs being slaughtered or killed and put down it's pretty serious. Like it's something that I've been very much focusing on the last couple of years. This experience of actually being there and accepting that you are part of killing. Like it's very hard for you to look at yourself and say, yeah, you know, I was part of killing something. Most people would like to not do that, but they want to eat meat. And I don't think that that's fair.
No,
if you want to
it's
eat the
not fair.
meat, then you need to acknowledge that you're part of that, and then you start
least you should-
graduating it. And
Yeah,
you want to
at-
make it the best way possible.
At least you
Get
should go
more
through the
involved.
thoughts about what does it take to kill something to put it to,
Yeah.
to put it in your mouth, right? Because if you went through the thoughts of killing something to eat it, you would also think about how would I treat it from the day it was born until the day it actually was killed.
But just understand the feed. What do they eat now?
Right now they eat barley, peas, rye. That's the mixture we mill. We'll see that later today. It's completely milled, completely
It's
like
very
powder.
fine. We saw you put it out, and it's
Yeah.
just a fine meal.
Yes, and that's
Why is it that?
because there's a lot of weeds in it too, and you don't want to take the weeds, make it go through the pigs and come out. If you have oily weeds, like mustard, different plants, they go right through the pigs and they become a weed, right? If you mill it fine, then it's better. And the pigs, Because the grain is only a supplement to the feed, right? If you took a normal pig and you gave it this finely milled feed, they would get ulcer right away. But because our pigs get so much grass, you cut a big load of grass every day, right? And you mix the grain in with grass. So grass is the most of they're getting, and then they get the rest on top.
Yeah, and if it's not milled, it just goes right through them. Like if they
Yeah. They don't have like a chicken have the what do you call it?
Gizzard.
Yeah, to crush it, right? So
So the supplements that they get, so to say, is the barley, oats, rye,
peas,
and peas.
a legume.
To get proteins.
Yeah.
And you cultivate those yourself.
no, we have some, and then we buy in from other people. But only farmers we know, and only fields we know where they come from.
Because the pig is not able to eat, like forage on its own, forage all its food.
We don't have
Can
enough land.
Because of the amount of pasture that it
Yeah,
needs?
yeah.
Okay.
Um,
But I've heard before that it's not enough for it to just have that. Because it's an omnivore, it needs to have more proteins. Than
no,
what
what
you can-
about I always compare it with a wild boar. A wild boar would run, but it probably have like 10 hectares a pig or something like that. If you go to, we've been to Corsica, right? You go up in the hills there, up in the mountains, and you see all of a sudden there'll be an area where they were not even wild boars, they were the domesticated pigs, right? They just let out in the mountains, and you'll have an area like 5 square meters, it's all rooted up, and they eat what they can there, and then they move on to the next place. Of course they'll grow slower, but that's the way it is.
If we had a small farm, if we could have a small farm that can actually sustain 4 people, I think that's really neat.
Yeah.
Because everything is getting bigger and bigger and bigger,
Yeah.
and it's kind of a.
But also the
idea.
animals thing, you need animal on a farm to
Yeah.
make a. If you just grow seeds or grain or vegetables, you need something. I think organic or farming is, whatever you do, it's a matter of balance, right? You need to have balance in the whole thing. As soon as you break the balance, you get too many weeds and you don't get any crop. If it's you only have crop and no weeds, you break the balance there too, because then you get too many lice and nothing to eat the lice or whatever it is. We have these set of rules that we try to stick ourselves and see we won't break those, because it's important to us that we can actually, when you guys come or anyone else come and say, okay, where does this grain come from, or how do you butcher them, or whatever, like we stick to those rules and say we don't butcher anything. They have to be minimum 1 year old.
Yeah.
So
And in conventional practice, you reach about 6 months. No?
5 months.
5 months.
5 months. And organic too. Same thing.
And I think a big deal about what you guys do that is different is the way that the piglets stay with the sow for how long?
Let's see.
The ones we have now are 4 months.
Well, no, they were
No,
born
they're
in
more.
March, April, so
Yeah.
it's 5 months. Yeah.
But they don't. The mothers don't have more milk now. They finally dried up.
So the weaning is completely natural.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think that the marbling and the quality flavor of the meat has is depending on the weaning?
Like if you have beef, like if you want to raise good beef cattle, you would never dream about taking the calf away from its mother, because milk is part of a natural way of, right? So we never had a piglet with diarrhea because it was weaned too early, right? And because this is natural, right?
The way that the flavors consolidate and the way that the meat develops is obviously completely different.
And that's the nice thing, because the natural way is the nicest.
Yeah.
Imagine you have to do a product where you had to do something like we talked about foie gras. If you had to do something like
Forceful.
extreme, yeah,
Forceful.
like mistreat animals to get a good product.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of cost to it. I mean, and people kind of roll their eyes when they hear how much our meat, the price on our meat, what you guys actually are paying, right? But either we're doing something completely wrong, or because we're not getting fat from this. And this is the most pricey pork meat that I know of, right? And we had this guy, he was probably at the beginning of his 80s. He came here up to 2 years ago, up to Christmas, and he bought a roast, and it cost 300 kroner, right? And he said, I'm just sending a text to my daughter. that I bought the most expensive meat I ever bought. And I said, excuse me, but when you worked in the 60s, how many hours would you have to work to buy this kind of meat? Just the cheapest meat at that time. How many hours would you have to work in the 1960s? And he was, well, not a full day, but pretty close, right? So, and I said,
and what is 300 kroner?
yeah.
That's
So,
an hour.
and I said, today, if you went to work today, how many hours would you have to work? Well, probably 2, right?
Max.
Yeah. And this is the most expensive meat, right? So the whole thing is just like turned around, like, and we are funny. I'm the same way, and I think most of us, like, we would like to spend money on something like the latest iPhone, like the latest thing, but God forbid if you have to buy something proper, right? It's maybe wine, maybe organic milk, something where you can actually
and air dried ham.
air dried ham. Yeah, no, but something where you can show your friends that what it is. And I think we're becoming a. Maybe I'm getting a grumpy old man, but we're becoming people that would like to show other people who we are and what we stand for, and not actually do what we do. We don't do the walk. We just do the talk. Right? If you want to eat meat, this must be the way to do it.
Yeah.
And if I was reborn as a pig, if I believed in that, I wanted to live here, and nowhere else. I wish there were small places I could be reborn, but I don't see it coming up. And it's totally up to the consumer.
Yeah.
It's up to us as farmers to tell the truth and the complete truth about what we do.
Yeah.
More transparency in what we do, and then it's up to consumer to actually decide what we farmers should do.